Welcome to a special whirlwind travel edition of your West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening not only at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but way, way beyond. This week, the president made history by being the first sitting U.S. president to make his second visit to India. He and the First Lady also traveled to Saudi Arabia to pay their respects to the late king. And back at home, the president convened a meeting with U.S. mayors and honored outgoing Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel. That's January 23rd to January 29th, or Namaste Obama. This West Wing Week kicks off in the Blue Room, the Green Room, and the East Room, where the president hosted the annual Conference of Mayors. The 200 mayors from across the country and from both parties met with the president to discuss middle-class priorities, such as raising wages to bolster hardworking families. To kick off his remarks, Sacramento Mayor Kevin Johnson gave him a very special NBA-themed introduction.
That's unbelievable. Standing 6'1", 180 pounds, southpaw, from Columbia University, via Hooterville High School in Honolulu.
Then it was off to India, a land halfway across the world but close to the president's heart. And we get a report from our foreign correspondent, Cal Penn.
Hey guys, it's Cal Penn. We got off Air Force One and now we're in a rickshaw here in Delhi. A lot of you might be wondering why President Obama is in India in the first place and what that's all about, so let's dig into it.
This trip is a trip of firsts, not President Obama's first trip to India. He actually did that back in 2010. But with this visit, President Obama becomes the first sitting U.S. president to visit India twice during his time in office. Why the second visit? Well, last September, Prime Minister Modi met with President Obama in Washington, D.C. on one of his earliest trips in office. They hit it off, and following that trip, he took the unprecedented step of inviting the president to be the chief guest at India's Republic Day celebrations. So here's another first. This visit will mark the first time a U.S. president will have the honor of attending Republic Day, which commemorates the adoption of India's constitution.
But this is much more than just a symbolic visit. This is actually an opportunity for the world's largest democracy, India, and the world's oldest democracy, America, to engage further on some major issues affecting both nations. And who doesn't love democracy? Well, I can think of some people who don't love democracy, but we're not talking about those people today.
So during the visit, get ready for this, we've seen a series of bilateral meetings and high-level dialogues advancing U.S.-India economic ties and civil nuclear understandings and the pursuit of increased cooperation around developing clean energy, new defense initiatives, security concerns, and counterterrorism strategies, the effort to combat climate change, the responsibility of upholding fundamental freedoms for all individuals, regardless of gender, orientation, or faith, as well as the pursuit of cleaner air and enhanced public health. That's a lot, right?
Well, we can't tell you everything that we talked about.
Yet there was still time to honor the legacy of political action through non-violent means that binds both our nations by paying respect to Gandhi at a memorial. While here, the president also released a video message back home announcing new measures the Department of Interior is taking to preserve the Arctic Natural Wildlife Refuge and calling on Congress to designate it a wilderness area, which would keep it free from roads and structures.
So that we can make sure that this amazing wonder is preserved for future generations.
Okay, so all in all, really busy weekend for President Obama here in India, but now it's off to Saudi Arabia. Chal hum Saudi Arabia jayenge.
And Cal, don't forget, on Tuesday, the president also addressed an august gathering of social justice leaders working to further equality within their communities.
In both our countries, in India and in America, our diversity is our strength, and we have to guard against any efforts to divide ourselves along sectarian lines or any other lines. If India, as massive as it is, with so much diversity, so many differences, is able to continually affirm its democracy, that is an example for every other country on earth. That's what makes us world leaders. Not just the size of our economy or the number of weapons we have, but our ability to show the way in how we work together and how much respect we show each other.
As we bid farewell to India and to Cal Penn, the president and first lady said hello to Saudi Arabia, where they received a warm musical welcome. In Riyadh, they paid their respects to King Salman following the passing of the late King Abdullah. Air Force One landed back in the United States at the dark hour of 2:37 a.m. Later that day, though, the president attended the Armed Forces Farewell Ceremony in honor of Secretary of Defense Hagel at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall. On Thursday, the president and vice president traveled to the city of brotherly love to attend the House Democratic Caucus retreat. So namaste, and remember to stay engaged with us online. And remember, you can find out more information about any of these topics and see complete videos of these events at whitehouse.gov. So thanks so much for checking out this edition of your West Wing Week.
West Wing Week.